Have you ever felt yourself slowly drifting away from the crowd, not because you're tired of people or sinking into apathy, but because something inside you is pulling you toward a deeper place? It can feel confusing at first. You're not sad, you're not burnt out, and you're not over it. Yet the things that once entertained you, occupied you, or kept you involved suddenly feel empty. What you're experiencing isn't emotional collapse. It's a spiritual awakening. God is drawing you out of the noise of the world and into the stillness of His presence. We live in a generation drowning in constant stimulation. Social media updates every few seconds, endless entertainment, a culture obsessed with appearances, and a pace that never slows down. Everywhere you turn, there's something trying to capture your attention or shape your desires. And for a while, you might have gone along with it. You fit into the rhythm, followed the trends, kept up with conversations, indulged in the same distractions as everyone else. But now, something feels different. The noise that once filled your days now feels hollow. The entertainment that once excited you now drains you. The conversations that once felt engaging now feel shallow and repetitive. This shift isn't random, it's intentional. God is calling His children out of the chaos so they can hear Him again. When Jesus said in Matthew 6:6, "But when you pray, go into your room, close the door, and pray to your Father," He wasn't just giving instructions on prayer. He was revealing the pathway to intimacy with God. Separation from noise, retreat from distraction, and connection in secret places. Many Christians today are beginning to feel that call in a profound way. They're losing interest in superficial circles, in conversations built on gossip or empty humor, in activities that once seemed fun but now feel pointless. It's not social withdrawal, it's spiritual realignment. Maybe you've noticed this happening in your own life. You scroll less. You speak less. You don't feel pressured to comment on everything. You don't chase what's trending. You don't feel the need to impress. You're still present, but something in you is shifting. The world's expectations no longer hold the weight they once did. The constant chatter around you feels foreign, even exhausting. And at times, you may wonder if something is wrong with you. But nothing is wrong. Something is waking up inside you. God is setting you apart. He is pulling you towards something deeper than surface-level living. The world offers happiness rooted in appearance, success, and social approval. But that kind of happiness evaporates the moment circumstances change. Christian fulfillment, on the other hand, is rooted in something eternal. Jesus reminded us in John 16:33, "In this world you will have trouble, but take heart. I have overcome the world." He wasn't warning us to expect misery. He was reminding us that true peace and purpose aren't found in what the world offers. They're found in Him. What you're feeling is the growing divide between temporary pleasure and eternal purpose. God is loosening your grip on worldly noise so you can take hold of spiritual clarity. Psalm 46:10 says, "Be still and know that I am God." Stillness isn't passive, it's transformative. It's in the quiet, in the withdrawal, in the moments when the world grows dim that God becomes clearer than ever. This quiet awakening isn't a loss. It's the beginning of alignment. It's the first step toward hearing God's voice, recognizing His presence, and stepping into the deeper purpose He has prepared for you. When God pulls you into solitude, it's not because He wants you to escape life. It's because He wants to awaken something inside you. Spiritual withdrawal is not running away. It's not emotional collapse. It's not isolation for the sake of hiding. It is God shifting your environment so he can reshape your heart. When Jesus withdrew from the crowds, it was never an escape. It was preparation. Luke 5:16 says, "But Jesus often withdrew to lonely places and prayed." If the Son of God needed solitude for strength, clarity, and renewal, then we should not be surprised when God calls us into the same rhythm. Solitude is one of the most misunderstood tools of spiritual growth. The world sees stillness as inactivity, but in the kingdom of God, stillness is where the deepest transformation happens. The noise of life, opinions, expectations, responsibilities, distractions, can drown out the voice of God. It's only when the noise fades that the subtle movements of the Spirit become clear. God calls believers into seasons of stillness because He knows that some growth can only happen in quiet places. Some revelations only come when the distractions fall away. Some healing only begins in silence. Think of a seed. Before it becomes anything beautiful, it has to be buried, hidden, surrounded by darkness. For a time, nothing seems to be happening. But beneath the soil, transformation is taking place. Roots form, strength develops, identity is shaped. Without that hidden season, the seed could never grow. Your withdrawal works the same way. God buries you, not to forget you, but to grow you. What looks like stillness is actually the birthplace of new strength. What feels like silence is God preparing you for what He's about to bring forth. Mark 1:35 shows this pattern again. Very early in the morning, while it was still dark, Jesus got up, left the house, and went to a solitary place where He prayed. Jesus sought solitude on purpose. He withdrew before He moved. He prayed before He acted. He received clarity before He faced the crowds. In that stillness, He reconnected with the Father, realigned His purpose, and renewed His strength. When you feel God pulling you away from the noise, He's doing the same for you. Solitude is not punishment. It's preparation. In the quiet, God reveals His voice more clearly. Distractions fade. Pride is stripped away. Fears rise to the surface so God can address them. Old wounds get exposed so they can finally heal. Solitude is where refining happens. Just as gold is purified in fire, believers are purified in stillness. This is where God reshapes your desires, recalibrates your identity, and strengthens your spirit. In solitude, He removes what is false and strengthens what is true. Retreat is where God gives new identity, new direction, and renewed purpose. It's not about disconnecting from people. It's about connecting to God at a depth you've never experienced before. When you step back from the noise, you make space for God to do the inner work that only He can do. Growth that cannot happen in the crowd happens in the quiet. Strength that cannot form in chaos forms in stillness. Purpose that cannot be heard in noise becomes unmistakably clear in solitude. This is why God calls you away. Not to shrink you, but to shape you. Not to silence you, but to prepare you to speak. Not to isolate you, but to transform you. Solitude is where the awakening becomes transformation, where God refines you so He can release you into what comes next. When your season of solitude begins to lift, you don't return as the same person who stepped into it. You come back stronger, clearer, and more aligned with who God has called you to be. The noise that once dictated your choices no longer controls you. The pressure to fit in loses its grip. The desire for validation fades because you've learned something the world could never teach you. Your value comes from God alone. When you've spent time in His presence, The opinions of people simply don't carry the same weight anymore. You no longer look for approval in places that once drained you. Instead, you stand with a quiet confidence rooted in God's calling, not in the applause of others. The retreat didn't weaken you, it established you. The world may not understand the shift, but you no longer need to be understood. You've learned that alignment with God is more important than acceptance from the crowd. It is in this renewed state that Jesus' words in Matthew 5:14 take on a deeper meaning. You are the light of the world. Light is not meant to blend in, it's meant to stand out. It's meant to reveal, guide, and illuminate. After a season of being hidden in God's presence, you don't return to fade into the background. You return to shine. The solitude sharpened you so that when you step back into the world, you carry the clarity, strength, and authority of someone who has been with God. This is the purpose of retreat. God shapes your spirit in the quiet so He can release you with purpose into the noise. He strengthens what was weak, heals what was wounded, and clarifies what was confused. In solitude, He removes the old identities you carried, the ones shaped by comparison, insecurity, or pressure, and replaces them with identity rooted in Him. You stop living for recognition and start living for obedience. Purpose becomes the goal, not popularity. When you return, you carry God's presence with you. You move differently. You speak differently. You respond differently. The same situations that once overwhelmed you now meet a version of you that has been restored and refined. The same environments that once drained you now encounter someone filled with spiritual authority. The transformation isn't loud. It's steady, grounded, and unmistakable. Your mission becomes clearer. Your steps become more intentional. Your choices reflect the one who shaped you in the stillness. The world will see the change, even if they can't explain it. And this is exactly how God designed it. He calls you into solitude not so you can remain hidden forever, but so that when you return carrying His light. So embrace the quiet seasons. Don't fight the withdrawal when it comes. Let God refine you when He pulls you away from the noise. Because when the time comes to step forward again, you won't return empty. You'll return equipped. You'll return strengthened. You'll return with clarity, identity, purpose, and light. And when you walk back into the world, you won't walk in trying to fit in. You'll walk in carrying the presence of the one who called you out, transformed you, and sent you back, radiating His light in a world that desperately needs it.